morning, everyone. How you doing? Come on, one more. Good morning. All right. We're going to start talking about digital, the AI world, and why it's changing everything we do. I'm going to leave you with one stat to start with. 52% of the Fortune 500 merged, acquired, gone bankrupt, fallen off the list since 2000. This was the precipice. This is the beginning of what we talked about in digital transformation. This is why people are investing in digital. This is why people are looking at this. But let's put the numbers into perspective. The digital companies are winning. They're using data-driven approaches to take 40 to 70% of the market share, 40 to 77% of the profits, and they're building these data-driven digital networks that are at the heart of digital transformation. Now, let's take a look and think about these impacts. I'm going to ask you a question, and I want you to yell out loud now. What are the top stocks since 2010 in terms of performance? I'm going to put some up here, and I want you to say, tell me which ones. Which ones were the top performers since 2010? Give me some names. Amazon, Apple, Facebook. Who else? Are you guys ready? I'm going to do a countdown. 3, 2, 1. The number one company? Yes, it's not even digital, it is analog. They built a digital business model, but it wasn't just a channel, it wasn't just a mobile app, it wasn't just a website. You can track the pizza from order to when it's in the oven, to when it's out of the oven, to when it's 2 minutes from your house. They rebuilt their entire business model to be digital, and they used it with data, and now they're adding AI on top of it to make it smart. At 5 p.m. on a Friday, if you have the Domino's app, who has the Domino's app? Ooh, look at that. If you have the Domino's app, you know they're making a suggestion. We can have a pizza at home in 10 minutes for you if you make the order now. That's what we're talking about. This is a post-sale, on-demand attention economy. Post-sale, everything after the sale is more valuable. Think about it. It's not just the product, it's the service, the installation, the warranty. It's on demand. People aren't buying larger and larger amounts of products and services and experiences and outcomes. They're looking for an attention economy. If you don't capture my attention or save me time, I don't care. We are trading loyalty for value, loyalty for status, loyalty for almost everything at this moment. The customers aren't loyal because they're looking around and they have better information than they ever had before. Now enter this world of data transformation and AI, and we see a very, very different business. The first rule here is when we're doing this transformation, this is a business model change. We start with transforming the business models, and we change the way we engage with our stakeholders, customers, partners, suppliers, employees. And once we do that, we apply new technologies to those business models. Now let's take the common ones that should be out there. Mobile? Mobile's not about a device. Mobile is about doing things in motion, in between time. When we think about social, it is changing the way we engage. It's not just social media. We're changing how we share, how we publish, how we create, how we collaborate, how we wash our hands after this slide. But you get the idea, right? And it's also cloud. Cloud is our ability to connect all sorts of compute power together, centralize, and connect everything in one place. And big data. Do you want more data? No, nobody wants more data. They want to make better decisions. And when we think about IoT, it's about taking context and helping that become more relevant. And when we become more relevant, people engage with us. We are much more accurate. People are more receptive. And the last thing, when we think about 3D printing, that's wonderful. That changes additive manufacturing, changes the way we look at global supply chains. It changes our business models in that action. So who's used the ride-sharing service in the last 4 weeks? Raise your hands. All right, good number. Uber, Lyft, anyone. So the point being here is Uber, Lyft, those ride-sharing services, they are a business model first that happens to apply these technologies. Mobile, you look down, you see where the car is. Social, you rate your drivers. You ever wonder why you don't get picked up? They rate you too. And cloud, it brings all the data, all the people, all the routes together in one place. Big data creates dynamic pricing. That's how you get surge pricing. And IoT provides the context. What routes are more popular? Why? What times of days are better? What weather conditions changes our pricing? And then 3D printing would be great. Imagine if Domino's could print their pizza in the car and deliver it, right? So that's the idea, how we put all these things together. But business model first. Now looking forward, the big trends, IoT is is hot. Think of Industry 4.0. Think about context, where that comes into place. 5G plays a role in here as well. 3D printing. AR, augmented reality, mixed reality, definitely a big piece in the way we look at learning, field service, and of course robotics and automation are going to play a big role in terms of how we scale. And then when we think about blockchain, it's about trust. You can do a lot of things outside of the blockchain, but when you don't have trusted networks, you use that as a mechanism to start that catalyst. And then, of course, we'll think about AI and cognitive, which is going to be the biggest impact in the next 10 years. And that's why we're talking about this. Now, what's happening in the market? We don't sell products anymore. We don't sell services anymore. We are selling experiences and outcomes. And there's a battle for customer experience across the board. And this battle actually happens this way. Product companies are giving products away for services. Free cell phone with the 2-year services contract. Services company giving services away for experiences. We're moving from freemium to premium. What happens when you get to the 10th level of Angry Birds? It's free. A gigabyte of storage, now you have to pay. So we're going from freemium to premium, from free to actually paying for those experiences. And experience-based companies are transforming business models, and business model companies are transforming outcomes. We'll take care of everything for 90% uptime for $1,000 a year. That's where we're headed. We're building outcomes that reflect brand promises. Now, here's a medical equipment company. They used to sell these devices for €1 million each. Now, for €1 million, then you would buy education and training, you'd buy installation, then you'd buy an upgrade plan. Wait, it sounds like software, doesn't it? No, just kidding. So you get the idea. But in this business model, what matters is revenue per scan per day. How often do we run that machine? And when we think about that, what is the metric that matters the most? It's uptime. And so now they price these machines differently. If you want 80% uptime for the next 4 years, you can pick this up for $3 million. If you want 95% uptime, it might be €5 million. Now you get the idea. We are paying for that. And every day that machine is down, the manufacturer pays for lost revenue. That means they monitor the machines, they make sure those machines never go down, they put fixes and installation early, and they actually have a lot of data science behind that. And when it does go down, they have better information than the insurance company on how to underwrite that policy. Okay, let's look at other experiences. Who's been to a Disney theme park? Anybody watch a Disney movie? Anybody go to a Disney vacation? Have you seen these magic bands? They raise prices €10 more because of the magic band. But why do they do that? The magic band allows you to open the door in your room at the resort. It allows you to pay for things. It's your pass inside the park. And in return, with all that data being captured, they can say, Tomorrowland is completely filled. We're going to have to staff up. Wait, we need more €10 turkey legs. We're out, right? They can take that information and figure out how to use that data to improve the experience. And in fact, we're now at a point where you're willing to pay €10 more to be tracked like a gerbil through the park, and you love it. It's a Disney experience. Now, what's really going on? What's really going on? Disney is basically not competing with another theme park. They're not competing with another movie. They're competing for your time and attention. You could be reading a book. You could be at a restaurant. You could be talking with friends, and they want to make sure that every experience that you have with them is fabulous and is data-driven. And this is really why you see all that data collection and AI coming into place. Now, the third role here is unit cost pricing. What is the smallest increment of a product, a service, an experience, and an outcome you can sell? Now, these guys were great. Shaves as a service. The guy sold the company for $1 billion. Amazing, right? It's shaves as a service. You don't buy the blade. It's not the blade in the the razor kind of example. But let's take something more tangible. Let's say we take something like soda. We're going from a case of Coke to a 2-liter Coke to a bottle of Coke. Who here in this room would pay me 10 cents for a sip of Coke? Raise your hands. That was a crazy question, wasn't it? That is a crazy question. But let me reframe your mind. You see these machines over here? Freestyle machines, free mix machines? If I told you for 2 weeks, for €10, you could have unlimited sips of Coke anywhere in the world, who would pay €10 for this? Ooh, we got takers. What happens if it was beer?
We're in. Now you see what we're talking about. We transform the experience. If I'm selling power gen equipment, megawatts per hour to kilowatts per hour, how much would you pay for a green atom during peak hours that has 10% solar, 10% geothermal, 50% hydro? That's a very interesting proposition. So if you can imagine the smallest increment you can sell, then you can actually transform those experiences. Now, how do we do it? We power it with data, lots of data. And in fact, some of that data is messy. It is coming from outside of your area. It doesn't belong to you. You can't verify it. And it's not within the nice four walls of your system. And we're going to see more and more of that over time. And that's why it's really important to think about this last stat. 90% of mission critical data, or at this point, 60% is heading in that direction, but we see 90% by 2030 that's going to come outside those four walls. What are we doing with the data? Structured, unstructured, we're bringing it together. We're aligning it by business process, order to cash, hire to retire, incident to resolution. The idea here is basically align it to business process and then study it. We're looking for patterns of insight. If we can find those patterns of insight, our goal is to find the next best action. We're going from data to decisions and learning from that process over and over. And that's why these data-driven digital models were important. Now, who here uses Waze or Google Maps? Does that work in the countries you're in? That's an example of just a little bit of data transforming your customer experience. That's pretty powerful. Now, we can also monitor how much power you used, how much water you used, and we can do benchmarking, services analysis. And we can also put these in marketplaces like ad networks. This is the heart of the future of digital transformation, these data-driven digital networks, and how do we get there? Now, the next step with digital transformation and with AI, it gives us the power to do mass personalization at scale. And that's really the beauty of this, is how do we actually become more relevant? And that mass personalization has three basic principles. The first one is have context, weather, location, time, sentiment. What products did you buy? Your role. When we put that together, we now have enough context to be relevant. And being relevant allows us to engage. Now, when we have that, the second thing we put in place is choices. Who remember these books? Choose Your Own Adventure. Remember these books as a kid? Start on page 1, go to page 27, make a choice, go to 45, come back to 12. Oh, sorry. The end. 27 possible endings. Well, we have choices, and in a digital world, every choice is a demand signal that is attributable to context. And now we can start building patterns. And in fact, we take those patterns so we can create something like what we call anticipatory analytics. Let's make some guesses. Now, there's a famous North American hockey player named Wayne Gretzky. Someone asked his father, why is Wayne a wonderful hockey player? He skates to where the puck will be. That's very profound. How do you know where the puck's going to be? Is it the angle? Is it the tilt? Is it where he's sitting on the field? And when we put those together, we get that idea. Now, a great example of this is when we think about something like coffee, right? We could actually, how many people here actually physically goes out and buys coffee in the morning? Not the free stuff in the office, but something that you purchase. All right, I'm going to pick on you. What's your name? Sharon, where do you get your coffee? North Sydney, is that a single origin place, or is it some kind of place, or is it like a chain? It's a sub. I know where North Sydney is actually, but what coffee shop do you go to? So you go to boutique place. What time in the morning? 8 o'clock. And what do you order? A large cappuccino. It's 25 degrees, beautiful day in North Sydney. Would you ever get an iced coffee? It's 30 degrees, getting warm. Would you ever get an iced coffee? It's 37 degrees. Would you ever get an iced coffee? She says no. Let's give her a round of applause. What are we doing here? We're doing an A/B test, right? We start by figuring out, hey, 90% of the time, 8 in the morning, you're going to get a large cappuccino. And then we apply a secondary test with weather and context to say, would she get something else? She keeps saying no. By the third time, this is annoying. I'm never getting an iced coffees. And so we get that, so we would never make that a choice. This is context, choice, and anticipatory analytics on one action. Let's take another example. I'm walking to an elevator. I walk into the lobby. It's 2 p.m., 27-point facial analysis. Gate analysis. Hey, it looks like Ray, he's on the 15th floor. Send an elevator down. I get into the elevator. It says 90% of the chance I'm going to the 15th floor. I swipe my badge, it knows who I am. It also says, my boss, she's on the 25th floor. There's a 70% chance I might want to meet with her because I've been trying to schedule a meeting for the last 3 weeks. But wait, there are free donuts on the 5th floor. What do I do? So I take the donuts, go to the boss. You get the idea. Now here's the secret to every single AI-driven smart service that we're going to see. This is the heart of what we're doing. We take a little bit of data, we figure out what's going on. That's the digital exhaust, that's the digital footprint. We then create immersive experiences based on context, what we actually serve up some information, we engage with that information and create a bunch of choices. From that point, we then deliver the personalization at scale. And at that point, we go out and create anticipatory analytics, make some guesses and probabilities. Then we go out and deliver some catalysts, give you a set of choices, and then we have a value exchange. Sometimes it's money, sometimes it's not money, sometimes it's an agreement. And then we learn from that. Is it a one-time thing? Is it a dependent process? Is it a regular thing? And then we apply machine learning and keep coming back. And the goal here is to deliver on outcomes in AI. AI is about what? How do we get to an outcome? First part, tell me what's going on. Second part, start helping me with a notification or an alert. Third part, make some recommendations. And then over time, automate those recommendations. And if you can automate those recommendations, start predicting what might happen. But the fifth thing is the most important part. How do we prevent disasters, mitigate risk, right? That is a huge thing. Most famous phone in the world, the Galaxy Note 7, announced at every airport. Remember that? Crazy. 100 phones, 8 sigma in quality, took out $8 billion in a recall. If you can go from 8-week recall for $8 billion to 8 days, which would be somewhere around $800 million, to 8 hours, which would be $80 million, why wouldn't you do that? $1 million software to take out 80 million on risk? That's a wash. Every CFO would be in on this, right? So you get the idea of what we're trying to achieve. Now, the last part I'm going to spend some time talking to you about here is really what we call AI-driven smart services and how it fits in an area like manufacturing. I'm going to ask you a very important question. How many people here actually would fill out the warranty card for their toaster and mail it in? Raise your hands. I want to know who you are. Come on, there's got to be one person. Anybody feel? Okay, good. We got one here. Thank you, thank you. Okay, what is the first phone call like for a manufacturer when someone calls about their appliance? It's broken. It doesn't work. I don't know how it works, right? It's negative NPS on day one, right? The first call, you spend 30 minutes figuring out who they are. Is that even my product, right? What's broken? What's going on? But let me change the equation for you real quickly. If I said, connect your toaster to the internet, give me just an email and a zip code, and I will monitor your toaster. And 90 days before the toaster goes out, I will let you know. Who would now register their toaster, appliance, washer, dryer? All right, we got a lot more people now, okay? Now, if I add to that and say, I will monitor that, I can now monitor and see what products are broken, which suppliers lied to me, what's happening in the marketplace. I can actually figure out, why do toasters in Amsterdam do better than toasters in Spain? Maybe it's humidity. Why do toasters in New York break more than toasters in London? Maybe it's the bagels. You get the idea. And pretty soon I can actually do some things that are very interesting. So what's your name? Chris, if I told you your toaster is about to break in 90 days, I'm going to give you the same toaster. You've had it for 10 years for the same price you paid. Would you take that offer? Possibly. How about I change the offer and say, for 25 cents a month for the next 10 years, I'm going to offer you the toaster. If it ever breaks, I will fix it for you for free or send you a brand new one. You now have toast as a service. You're in. As long as you hear this. Okay, he's in. He's in on toast as a service. And even cooler, what can I start doing? I can offer you for $100 a month every appliance in your house, guaranteed if ever it goes down, I will take care of it. So maybe the first set is Electrolux, LG, Samsung. Maybe the second set at 200 euros a month could be Bosch. Maybe the third set could be Gaggenau Miele for 400 a month. And now we have different models. We have built customer experience monitoring, remote field service, toast as a service, direct to consumer, and cross-sell all into one. Every industry is learning from these different business models. And I'm going to give you the last thing here. This is about digital transformation and the human element. We can't forget to humanize digital transformation. There's 5 generations out there, and the first thing you have to think about, how well you know the technology and how likely you'll use it. And you'll see that here. The key thing here, first set, digital natives, they jump in. They're 80-year-olds that I work with in nursing homes that start on a digital device. They're on a tablet. They're the ones texting you in the middle of work with questions, right? And then there's digital immigrants who takes notes on paper and takes a picture of it. Anyone do this? You are a digital immigrant. You should know better, but you're navigating between the two. And the last one is digital voyeurs. And digital voyeurs, they jump in and they say, hey, I'm not ready, but I like the technology, I'm not scared. And then we have digital holdouts. They're like, no, don't talk to me, I'm not interested in this. And then the very, very last one are digitally disengaged. They were your friends that used to show you the coolest devices, the newest apps, they got you excited about everything. Now they wear hoodies. They use burner phones. They pay in cash. They avoid video cameras. They know Snowden was right. All right, anyways, here's where we are today. We're worried about where the robots will take over. My honest assessment to you is we're at the very beginning of transformation in AI. There's a long way to get there. We have a lot of opportunities. Start building your stuff in the cloud. Take advantage of data. Put all that together. And if you do this, you're going to be successful. We're going to be able to see AI and digital transformation come together. Thank you very much.